Welcome back to Try and Test It. I'm Elaine and today we're gonna unbox a new Power Apps feature together. So a few days ago, Microsoft have announced a new feature for model-driven apps, which is the Advanced Lookup. So let's get started. If you guys have missed the announcement, here is it. It is on the Power Apps blog on 16th of June. So I highly recommend that everyone subscribe to the Power Apps blog because then you would know any new features that comes up, not just for Canvas app but model-driven app as well. So let's see what is this enhancement on the lookup experience. So let's just browse through here. According to this one, it says you can view more columns when looking up a record. So this is really awesome if you can view more columns, because if you are familiar with model-driven app or first-party apps, you know that when you select a lookup, you can see at most 3 columns on the search view. So you can configure what are the columns you want to see, for example, name, phone number, and email address of a contact, but you're limited to 3. So with this new enhancement, you could see all the columns like what is shown here. So this is really great. And the next one, it says that you can see the result quickly using type head search. I reckon this is a search like using the first 3 characters or 5 characters that enable you to search for example, account name or email address. And this is cool as well because it makes searching much easier. Next, it says you could explore data within Advanced Lookup without losing context. So from the image, I reckon what it means here is that you could actually drill down into the record and maybe modify it or create new data, and you're not going to lose the context, because previously if you navigate away from the lookup, if you go and drill down into the record, you kind of lost the page and you have to come back to it. So this is really good. I'm very excited with this. And lastly, it says the ability to filter data easily, which I reckon it provides some out-of-the-box filters. Oh, that's not the last one. There's more to come. So you can also look up multiple records with fewer clicks. Yeah, I guess that's true because if you currently goes to like the Advanced Lookup, the lookup for call to kind of the party lookup, you can't actually select multiple records. You have to do it one by one to add them on. So let us first go to model-driven app, and I'll show you how the current lookup looks like if you've never seen it. And then we'll turn on this new feature and see whether all this new stuff is actually that easy to use and will help in making it more user-friendly. So if you're interested to read this article, I left the link down on the description below, and I also left a link to Microsoft Docs that talks in more details about lookup and Advanced Lookup. So now let's go to our app to see how the lookup works, okay? Now I'm at the Power Apps Studio, and here I have created a very simple model-driven app. Let me just open it up. It's just have 2 tables in it. One is accounts and one is contacts. So I have not turned on the Advanced Lookup, just for the benefit of those who are not familiar with model-driven apps and lookups. I'm just going to show you how the current lookup looks like before I turn on the enhanced feature. So I'm just going to go to an account, and on the account there is a lookup to the primary contact. Basically this is looking up to records on the contact table. So now when you click on it, you see how there's no record. You couldn't find any record. We have to change the view, or you can also add a new contact, but we'll just change the view. We remove the filter to related, and we just go to active contacts, and you can see a whole list of contacts over here. But one problem that we have with this view is that if I drill down, it only shows three information, which is the name, the email, and the phone number. So you can configure what information you want to show here, but it's limited amount of columns that you can display. So sometimes if the user wants to search or look at other information when trying to associate this contact, they couldn't see it. They have to either go to contact and search for it, or maybe just select and drill down. So I'm going to show you, for instance, if I should select Jeannie Potter, I need to drill down into Jeannie Potter to see the other informations of Jeannie Potter. So even though on this record here, we have other informations like Dragon Alley, London, which probably be useful for the user, or maybe things like job title, but we couldn't display that many information. So it's limited, and that makes it not very user friendly. So there are several different types of lookup, and like I mentioned just now, I'll put a link on the Microsoft Docs that talk about lookups, and you can read about it in more detail. So now let's go and turn on the new Advanced Lookup feature and see how it looks like. To do that, first you have to go to the admin center. So this is the URL, adminpowerplatform.microsoft.com. Once that's open, you need to select the environment that you want to turn on the feature. So if you have release wave 2 2021 turned on your environment, this advanced lookup feature is automatically enabled. But I don't have it, so it's not enabled yet. I'll show you what I mean. So I have this Elaine default environment. I just need to open it. And here I can see all the information on my environment. So here I can see that I have 2021 release wave 1 turned on. So which means that I do not have this advanced feature turned on yet. What I need to do is I go to settings, and on settings you go to product, behavior. So if you go down, you'll see that there's this new parameters over here, new settings, which is the lookup behavior. I just need to turn this on, and I can put in a minimum number of characters to trigger. So let me try 3 characters. The delay between character input that will trigger a search, 250. Can I go lesser? Make it faster? Though 250 milliseconds is quite fast. So okay, so we can't. So there's a minimum of 250. That's alright. We're just gonna leave that as 250. So I gotta turn this back on, put to 3. And then I save it. Now it's saved. See that it's already turned on, the advanced lookup. So fingers crossed, the app will be reflected. Let's try and do a quick refresh and see if it's reflected on my model driven app. Okay, it's on Genie now. So let's try the account lookup. Click all records. It's not reflected yet. So let me just close this and refresh this and open the app again. And hopefully it have taken effect by then. So let me open this app again. Fingers crossed. Let's go back to accounts. It doesn't matter which entity I go to. Okay, so now it's reflected already. See, now it has the advanced lookup. I don't have it just now. So I click on Advanced Lookup, and it should display all the columns. So let's not filter by company name. So see how now you have the full name, email, business address, company name, and then you can also do a search. Let's try to search by Percy. That's fairly quick, yeah. Now what about if I want to search by London? Oops, it doesn't find a match. So my guess is to configure what column you can search for on the lookup is still same as the old way of doing it, like how we do it on Dynamics, where Dynamics CE app, where we actually configure the quick find. So let's try and do that and see if the search works, okay? So I'm just gonna go to the solution. I've actually created a solution beforehand, and I've added this app and the entities into the solution. So let's go and edit. So I'm looking up to the contact. Let's go and edit the contact. Because all the columns on the views is still reflected as per configure on your active views, your lookup views, and your inactive views, etc. So I reckon it's the same thing. Now coming here, we have to configure the quick find, right? That's how we normally do configure the search, what it can search for on the lookup. And on the quick find, we should be able to say the edit find table. So let's add city. So we'll be able to search by city. See how he has everything but it doesn't have city. So let's just try and save. And publish this. And hopefully get reflects onto the app. And it will fix the problem of not being able to search by the city. So it's gonna take a while to publish. So as we can see, is really much more user friendly than the previous lookup view, because you can see all the columns and you can configure the columns that you want to see. So even if the user doesn't search for it, they're able to see all the records and could select what record they want to associate it to. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna refresh this again, and it should work. So my guess is now if I go and search for the lookup, Advanced Lookup, let's try London. There you go, it searched for London. So the way to configure the search, the columns that it can search for, is still the same as previously. You have to configure in a quick find. Now, based on the document or the docs that we saw just now on the blog, on the PowerUps blog, it says that we could actually edit the record without navigating away from this screen. So maybe let's try and edit Harry Potter record. So if I click here, it should open Harry Potter. So it's actually like pop-up windows, which is really cool. So now I could like edit and add business phone. If I close this, I should be still on the form, and I go back to my lookup form. So see how the user doesn't need to navigate away from this screen, unlike what it is previously. And now if I want to associate it to Genie, I just select Genie, and then see how it's selected. And I click done, and it should associate it back to the record. One of the other thing that was mentioned is you can quickly and easily add multiple records to the lookup. So let's try that out as well, right? So we're gonna create maybe a phone call. And on the call to, I could add multiple record. So instead of adding it one by one, I could go to Advanced Lookup, and then I could see all the multiple tables here as well. So that's really great. And see how I can filter, not just this lookup view. I can go to all the other views that I have enabled. I can add new without navigating away from the form. I can only see my own record. So that makes it really easy to use. Like, it saved back so many clicks. So I could select daily profit. Let's try add contacts as well. I'll add Percy, and then maybe let's add some users. Let's do a search for the user. Let's see if it search. There's a 3 record. Oh, there's no Elaine in here. Just fine. Let's see what it has. The only thing I couldn't make out is how to refresh the search again. Like, how do I see all my users again? So let's go full access users. Fully shows everything. Okay, so I somehow not able to refresh my list again, but that's okay. I think I'll just add this two for now, and then I'm just gonna add more records again, and hopefully now it shows the full list. There you go. But it's really strange because I couldn't refresh the list. So if now I go POW, it should show me all the POW. And then if I remove POW, see how I couldn't get it to show all the lists again? I could actually sort the list so that's all really great. Like, you can do whatever you want on the view. You can do it here on the lookup. The only thing is I couldn't get the full list again once I couldn't refresh my search. So that's all good. And yeah, so there's minimal clicks, and that's a big win actually for users. So now let's save this. Oh, just put a subject. Save this, and I'll go back. And there you go. So what else should we try? Let's test out the 3 alphabet search again. Like, let's see whether it's search for the first 3 or the last 3, or it's always begin with, right? So we can just try this here again on the Genie portal. Advanced Lookup. So just remove all the filtering, and okay, so let's try Hermione. Let's see if they search for HER, which obviously would. Okay, now let's search ION. Oh, so it doesn't like ION. So it doesn't search for the in-between the words. Probably just begin with, let's search GRAN. Yeah, because I think this is a first name, last name, right? So it's gonna search first name and the last name, the column. And let's go city. If we go DON, probably it doesn't like it. Yeah, so it's always search for the first few alphabets, and what you search for, the amount of minimum alphabet that you need to enter to search for, you can actually configure it in Power Platform Admin. I think I've covered everything that's mentioned on the Power Apps blog. So I really love this feature. It's really more robust than the current lookup that we have. It's able to search, able to filter, sort, minimal clicks, select multiple records at the same time. The only one thing I wish for is when I clear my search box, it will actually show the full list again, or if there's a way to refresh and show the whole list again. So that's all for today. Thanks for joining me in unboxing this new feature. I had a lot of fun and I hope you guys did too. If you like my content, please give me a like and hit subscribe at the button below. Till next time, bye!